the Care Act easements effectively allow changes in four key areas of local authority operations. The first one is around assessments. So local authorities won't have to carry out detailed assessments of people's care and support needs as they did under the Care Act, but they are expected to respond as soon as possible and within a reasonable time frame that would not jeopardise a person's individual human rights to request for care and support. So they have to act, still have to act rapidly if people have an urgent need for care and support. And they must also continue to consider the needs and wishes of people needing care and their family and carers, and make an assessment of what care needs to be provided. So they do still need to obviously produce an assessment, but you would expect that to be a kind of abridged version of what would be a traditional local authority assessment, a short version. So the second area is local authorities will no longer have to carry out financial assessments in compliance with pre-amendment Care Act requirements. So in practice, that means that the financial assessment process, again, is fairly involved and resource heavy from a local authority point of view. So they've been given permission to basically stop that process, but they will have power to charge people retrospectively for the care and support they receive, provided they give reasonable information in advance about this and do the financial assessment later. So effectively, what that means in practice is they will be waiving the kind of charging process initially, but have an intention to revisit that at some point in future. So there needs to be an assumption made that charging will probably occur for most people. If the local authority fails to provide that information in advance, it would suggest that there would be an opportunity to challenge that in the future. The third area is that local authorities will still have to provide some support with assessments and reviews for individuals, but do not have to prepare them to the same level of detail as they did before the coronavirus bill. So they're expected to carry out proportionate, person-centred care planning, which has sufficient information, and the key word being sufficient, to all concerned. And if they choose to do a revision to a care plan, they must continue to involve the person and family carers in any such revision. So again, you would expect reviews and assessments to be lighter touch going forward for the foreseeable future, but there's still a duty to involve the person and the family in that process. And finally, the duties on local authorities to meet eligible needs have been replaced with a power to meet needs. So the expectation is that local authorities will still take all reasonable steps to continue to meet needs as they are now. But in the event they're unable to do so, the powers will enable them to prioritise the most pressing needs for people, for example, who need enhanced support because they're ill or self-isolating. And that means they could temporarily delay or reduce other care provision to provide support for those people who have the highest priority needs.